So when a company decides to go global, it is very important to understand both local and global conditions, so the company can develop better strategies to remain competitive. In this video, we will concentrate on understanding global conditions that affect a company's strategies. Even though nowadays many companies decide to go global and do businesses around the world, some companies decide to stay in the domestic markets. That is where they were first located. So how can a company decide to go global or remain in the domestic market? Usually, marketers must consider three aspects: domestic demand, the market potential abroad, and a firm's ability to have a competitive advantage in foreign markets. That is, the decision might be based on conditions where the domestic demand is declining while demand in foreign markets is growing. Also, it is important to understand both global and local conditions so the company can develop better strategies to remain competitive. That is, develop a competitive advantage in external markets. So, what is world trade? World trade refers to the flow of goods and services among different countries. It may take place through cash, credit payments, or counter trade. It is the value of all exports and imports of the world's nations. You can imagine that for these exchanges to happen, there should be rules and regulations. So after the World War II, governments recognized the importance of coming together to peacefully develop these regulations. Institutions and organizations such as the World Trade Organization or WTO, World Bank, and International Monetary Fund were created. Imagine working for these organizations. It would be great, right? You should learn more about them. There are different environments that affect how consumers behave and will influence the company's decisions to go abroad. Successful marketers monitor these environments to better satisfy and understand the customers. Economic environment refers to all those economic factors that affect commercial and consumer behavior and will affect a company's performance. Competitive environment is the dynamic external system, micro and macro, in which a business competes and functions. Technological environment refers to the state of the science and technology in a specific country. It can provide firms with competitive advantage, and it profoundly affects marketing activities. Political and legal environments refer to local, state, national, and global laws and regulations that affect businesses. When entering a foreign market, a firm must carefully weigh political and legal risks because they can affect the profitability of the international markets. Companies must consider regulatory issues and human rights issues. Human rights issues are important because businesses in general do not want to exploit workers and employ children or prisoners for slave wages. The sociocultural environment refers to the characteristics of a society, the people who live in that society, and the culture that reflects the values and beliefs in that society. These are limited lists of key aspects in each environment. The relevance of each of these aspects vary according to a company and its industry. Let's look at an example that I find very interesting and I hope you also find interesting. So let's talk about video games, and more specifically, esports. Esports are a form of competition for video gaming. So we have the first influence of a microenvironment here. Technological advances in broadband internet have made live streaming possible, contributing to the growth of professional game playing. We have also the influence of economic environment, where the telecommunications infrastructure affects the gaming experience. Also, the disposable income people spend in these video games is a way in which the economic environment affects the esports industry. Let me ask you, how much do you spend in this industry? Let me talk about two companies that in particular are influential in the competitive environment. Activation Blizzard, that is a US company, and Riot, that was founded by two Americans, but whose parent company in 2019 is Tencent, a Chinese company. In China, Tencent is becoming so important in video games that some experts argue it is reaching a monopolistic power. In esports, there is intense brand competition. For instance, we have League of Legends from Riot and Warcraft from Blizzard. But there is also product competition with you, the audience, have to decide between playing esports or live streaming movies or series, or even perhaps watching this video. To discuss political and legal environment's influence in this industry, let's think about three important countries in this industry. China, South Korea, and the US in particular have been highly influential in the development of the e-sport as an industry. The tight control by any government can also affect regulations regarding the type of content video games are allowed to use. When there is political turmoil among these foreign governments, e-sport companies can be negatively affected. Finally, one of my favorite environments, sociocultural. Let's see how some conditions can affect this industry. The size of China in terms of its population makes it a very attractive market for companies in this business. Also, in different parts of the world, esports might be a thing of younger generations. So age and generations can affect the participation in this industry. We can ask your parents if this is true. And finally, the social component of competitions in both playing and watching with friends has played a key role in the growth of esports. So in this video, we have answered two questions. What are the key conditions that affect a company's decision to enter foreign markets? And which and how do macro environments affect marketing decisions? Thank you for watching.